Hey, everybody, welcome back to the ECS Hangout every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're a little bit late today because there's some technical difficulties, but every 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we will go up and talk about cars, all things automotive, whether it be car shows, car builds, which is going to be tonight's big thing. And remember, everybody, we're sponsored by Control Freaks. That's controlfreakcompany.com. So check us out on all the major social media platforms, and don't forget to go to ecsmagazine.com. Tonight we have a star-studded cast as usual. We have some people that have been back, so I'm your moderator, Primo. Basically, I kind of help with the chat here to make sure everything flows smoothly. We have to my right is Reggie. Say hello, Reggie.
Hello, Reggie.
Perfect. And so we'll start down here with you, Joel, if you would like to go ahead and start the introduction.
I am Joel Chappell with NewEnglandAutoshows.com.
Perfect. And Chris, you're up. Tell everybody what's up and what you're about.
Yeah, my name is Chris. I am part of a local rider specific called the Ruined Car Club, and I'm glad to be part of this. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, tonight's subject matter is what custom rides are you building? Now, this is an open topic. Everybody can kind of get involved in the conversation. It's not just me controlling everything like an interviewer. I want everybody to be able to give input. And that also means that you that are watching on YouTube right now or watching wherever you're watching it, you can actually put comments into your areas, and those will be shared in our comment section over here to the right. And then whatever we ask is comments or questions or, anything that you want to put up or talk about, you can put that in there and we'll be happy to share it, especially today in that section. And I think everybody here wants to hear what kind of ride that you have currently being built, whether it be import tuner, lowrider, hot rod, mini truck, you name it, tractor trailer truck, motorcycle, anything that you got. We love to hear about it over there, and we love to discuss it. So I think we should just start off. Reggie, do you have anything that you are building right now? That you have anything on the?
No.
I thought you had a truck going.
No, Rhode Island don't like me, so I don't want to talk about
it. Wow, that seems totally ominous. Are they?
Because they don't want my truck to be on the road. That's not my fault.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think that anybody ever wants my car on the road. I don't know why, but every time I try to get it inspected, they say, we don't want to look at that. So, and then they make it go away. I think it's because they don't know the rules so much as I know more of the rules than they do. So do you think it's more like that or no? Joel, what have you got going on?
I kind of have two projects going. I'm
really
kind of trying to set up here to do the show and tell. My main vehicle, let's see. Hey, I know how to work a computer.
There you go.
My main vehicle for show is a 1995 Corvette. This is pretty much what it was when I got it. I've been slowly kind of adding to it and making it look more like a show car as much as I can. This is yet another photo of what it looked like when I got it. It was what it was. It was pretty normal. Now this is pretty much what it looks like now. Now it doesn't look that drastically different. The main thing I did is I did a wheel upgrade. I took a set of C5 wagon wheels and had them powder coated, and also stenciled in the C4 logos onto them, so it looks period correct. And then as a result of that, when you suddenly realize you can see more of your brakes, and unfortunately, I don't think you can see it a little bit better in this photo. Once you put on a wheel that shows off your brakes, you suddenly realize, oh crap, I actually have to put decent brakes on that actually look like the part now. So those are slotted and drilled discs and then we powder coated the calipers, red,
Got it.
kind of thing to make them pop out.
So is this the general look you're going for
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now, or is there something
I didn't
more?
have like I honestly didn't have like a direction for. I call this car base fun because it's essentially the most bottom of the barrel C4 Corvette you could get at the time. So it was the base model.
Does it have power issues or
no, not. I mean, you still got a 300 horsepower, 5.7 liter. You still got power windows. You still got air AC, but you did not get the Delco Bose system. You just got the Delco system. But I've added a Pioneer Bluetooth unit, to make sure that I have decent sounds, and I added speakers all the way around. I'm toying with the idea of adding an amp, but actually it sounds pretty good as is for what I need it for, which is basically just cruising at the shows and that type of thing. But it's got it has a standard the ZF 6-speed transmission in it. My top speed on it right now is 132 based on the
yeah. Is this the one? This is the one you compete with, though. This is the one you.
I mean, listen, I don't think I'm ever going to. I don't think I'm ever going to win a trophy with this thing. But she'll turn some heads.
Did you win a trophy with this?
I did.
The Jeep
when it was actually in that form. I actually won the stock all stock Corvette class with it.
I kind of like those wheels.
I did like them, but I actually prefer these on it. I actually think they just look so much better on it. Now,
nice.
As a secondary, hold on, let me get up.
Well, before you get into your second thing, I'm going to introduce the new person that's here and say hello and let everybody know who you are and what you're all about.
Well, as soon as I figure this thing out, I'm not sure it's the first time that I've ever been on one of your guys' lives.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just got the invite from our old buddy there. A little shit-eating grin on his face. My name's Billy. I'm from Ohio, and I've got a 2015 Dodge Challenger. It's Sublime that we kind of went crazy with the Ghostbusters themes. It's full airbrushed under the hood. It was in the July issue of ecsmagazine from an all-theme car show that we did in Marietta, Georgia.
Nice. Do you have a picture you can pull up, Reggie? Or
yeah, Reggie, how do I mean, I've never done this live before. How do I bring up pictures or do any of
Let me
that?
see if I can multitask.
Yeah, we'll have Joel do the production work over here.
What?
So what? Why would do? Go ahead.
Which month was it in?
July.
Okay. There you go. I'll see if I can find it.
Perfect. Now, while he's doing that, we're going to go back over to Chris. And what have you got for your big thing right now?
Are we talking personal builds?
You can talk whatever you want.
So, for myself, my own personal builds, I think we touched base on it loosely. Actually, after we went live, I have a 2000 RT that I'm turning into a wagon. So it's very much mini truck based on airbags. It has suicide doors, and has been. It's on 22-inch American Racing Sombrero style wheel, and the back is 24 by 15. So it's technically it is slammed. It's been an astronomical amount of fabrication, but is basically going to be like Clark Griswold's family truckster grain.
Yeah.
It'll have a roof rack and just be something that's just cool, slammed. Even gonna do three rows of bench seats and different. So that one's been a lot of fun. That one's out of my lowriders. And what I have for lowrider projects right now is 57 Chevy 2-door Bel Air convertible lowrider. Lowrider I built for myself. That one's going to be way over the top, but across country when it's done. So super reliable. Basically, if you could go to Chevy today and buy a 57 convertible, what less? You get heated seats, you get cruise control, you get steering wheel controls. Everything a new car has, but looks like 1950s. That car will have hydraulics in it. The hydraulics I have for it are all from 1950s. They're all aircraft hydraulics, so they were surplus from 1957. Some really hard stuff to find, really sought after stuff, and we're going to make it look as though it came factory from GM with the hydraulics. In the 60s, you guys might have remembered that the Impalas came with what was called level, where they came with the factory airbag. We're going to call this one Hydro Air. A Hydro level badge is made for it. So traditional lowrider, but actually runs anywhere you want, turnkey, a lot of custom tricks.
Nice.
But looks 1957. And then I also have a car I actually, in 2014, I built a 1981 Cadillac top, and I turned it into a working convertible. It locks, it seals. The car is going to be refreshed this winter. Quick scuff and shoot, new top. Just get it ready for next season. So, got three big
now the other
right now.
So the wagon, how soon before that's going to be done?
Probably 2 years.
Wow. Okay. I was like, are we going to wait around to get some pictures? And then I'm like, well, 2 years, we might be waiting a little bit. So we're going to keep moving. And then in 2 years, we're going to double back and you can check. Cause that thing I saw from what you showed us on, it looked amazing. I love the build on it. And yeah, I can't wait to see it. That thing is maybe we can get at some point down the road to some more pictures to show off. Cause I think a lot of people would like to see that build. So Joel looks like he has pulled up something, and I'm going to guess that is that your car, Billy?
It.
Awesome. So it's a Slimer thing.
Well, yeah, it's Slimer because of the sublime green, but then like you're seeing now, the original 4 Ghostbusters are airbrushed in the trunk lid. All under the hood is from Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Then it's all green accent on the inside. And
nice. Oh, I like how you went around that. That's pretty cool. Now, is this is completely done? I mean, I know everybody goes like, well, nothing's ever done, but
it's actually in the shop right now, getting more wrap work done, custom wrap work for the door jambs and the edges of the doors. The interior has been changed since this was done. It now has green and black leather interior in it. That was just done last week.
Got it. I really love that engine cover. That was just like the coolest thing about having like that dripping feel to it. So it really did have that Slimer-esque, like, portrayal of the interior of it.
The image that's on the engine cover is also the image that was on the center of the steering wheel, and the personalized fender badges that say Slimer Challenger or Slimer Edition, because everybody keeps asking when the hood's down, can they order that from Dodge like a Hellcat edition or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
But it's a fun car to drive.
Cool.
It's got the wheels on it are from a company called Audio City out in California. So the little center cap says AC. And a local guy here in Ohio named Frank Hazen did all of our airbrush work.
So how are you getting the wheels to glow like that? Is it on the wheel, or is it just kind of hanging out?
A ring in behind it that fastens to the backing plate. That's lighting trends lights. You just buy the kit from them and then install it. It's got full underglow and lights under the hood. It's pod lights and light strips and
Yeah. And so I'm guessing this is air ride.
it's on the
just-
Hellcat suspension.
Oh, it is regular
it's
suspension. Okay.
lowered. It's I forget the name of the shocks, but it's the same suspension they put on like the SRT cars, which lowers it down a little bit.
And any power
Not
adders?
yet. It does have electronic exhaust cutouts on it though, right behind the converters.
What's the plan down the road?
Plan down the road is to start doing performance mods.
Damn it.
Yeah. Hopefully we.
And what are you looking at for power?
I mean, it's won 2 World of Wheels shows. I mean, it wins all kinds of trophies. It won at Marietta, Georgia, the theme show. It won best theme and sponsor's choice out of 110 cars.
Nice.
So
what are you looking at to make? What are you looking at to make power on it later on?
We're probably going to cam it this winter, cam it and tune it, and then I'm looking at the Hellion Sleeper turbo system.
Oh,
which puts twin 62s over the rear end, and it's according to their numbers should be right at 600 horse to the tires.
Wow, that's a nice number.
Yeah, that's especially out of a stock lower end 5.7 Hemi.
What does it have for any sound work done to it?
No, it's just a factory stereo system. That thing.
Yeah, it looks like it has a ton of potential to put stuff in that trunk.
Well, and we're in a process of doing some more of the Ghostbusters type props or whatever that goes in the trunk. We've got a professional prop builder looking at seeing what he can stick in the trunk, and so it'll have maybe a proton pack or something all lit up, and
that would be cool. Yeah, it would be cool if you open up the trunk and something like folded out, and then you had like that,
Right. Well, we also we got like the local Ghostbusters group in Cincinnati that goes to a lot of shows with us. They come in the full gear and a big Stay Puft costume, and there's photos of that
nice.
That you've seen, Reggie, that are from the Marietta show where they had the guy's 10-year-old daughter is in a Slimer costume, and then one time they're in a Stay Puft costume. We just have a ball with it. So they said they went with us down to Marietta. They're in it with us at Cavalcade Customs in Cincinnati. Yeah, there's.
Oh, look at that! That's hilarious.
I when you said it, I was like, wait, I think I saw that.
Yeah, that's my buddy Scott there off to the side, and his daughter's in the costume.
Mm-hmm. Now, does anybody have the Ecto, or is it just the?
There's yours? Scott's actually building an Ecto out of an Audi wagon, and he's dressing it up like the original Ecto was supposed to be black, green, and purple, but it wouldn't film right at night, so they changed it white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the photos there. Well, that's some of the photos, and we've done some model shoots with it. That some of the models kind of get a little carried away.
Carried away, got it.
Oh, here's actually a great picture of the steering wheel.
There's the steering wheel. Yep.
But it's just a fun car.
So how did you get that? I mean, obviously that's something you designed and printed on there. How did you get that?
There's a company
piece
called Forged Concepts that done that for us. He done that, and he done our fender badges and a couple pieces that makes it look like the Uconnect screen has a screensaver type deal on it. It's like a couple pictures from Afterlife. It just kind of sits up there on the Uconnect screen, and people think it's a screensaver.
Wow.
And all the images on the hood now all have, like, the city's all lit up with fiber optic lights, and the eyes and the
Good Stay
characters
Puft.
have green LED lights in them now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice.
it is
Oh, Chris,
legal.
do you have any
Sorry.
Vigo? Yes, Vigo, and rules the world. Chris, did you have any pictures online of your
I
builds?
do on my Instagram. And sorry,
He has
I should have signed on.
he has to allow me to follow him because
Oh, yeah, that's what I
If
figured.
If you want, I can do that. I think
Yeah.
you just requested me, right?
Yeah, I just did. I requested as two different accounts, so whichever one, just let me know which, or you can do both actually.
PD_idea. Let me get you signed in, and you can drag up those pictures. Give me 1 second.
There you go. So while we're doing that, let's tear through a couple more of these right here to see what
Yeah, the one there with the headlight actually has a frost vinyl. It was done by a guy down in Florida. Oh crap, I'm drawing a blank on his company name now.
Oh,
But
look at that.
yeah, but that is just a frost vinyl that's cut out where it makes it like the headlights etched.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's just so many pictures.
Black laundry.
Yeah.
Dudes with wrenches said, way to do something different with the sublime green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's where it all started. You know, we bought the car and my wife's no one know what color it was, and I told her it was sublime green, and you could see the hamster wheels start to turn. And she goes, "Well, I'm calling it Slimer."
Nice. And that was it.
Got home, ordered the personalized license plates, and it's went from there. You know, we bought the car in 18, and now you see where it's at this point.
So I kind of love that you didn't really initially plan this theme. It just kind of like evolved, kind of.
Yeah, it just kind of evolved.
It just snowballed. You know?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, pretty much. It just went from just a plain green car, had a plain green black or a plain black hood on it, you know, just a factory old wheels, and then like I said, it just went crazy from there.
I like that. The underglow really does.
Yeah.
That's the thing is it's you always find stuff. It's like, okay, so people will tell you like, don't use the underglow, or don't use this, or use this, or use that. I'm always like, there's always a place that's perfect for something. And that is like, that right there is just the perfect place to use all those different things, especially the glow. I like how you did what you did with the wheels. And some of like the frosted glass, there's just little things in there. It's cool. Like the engine is just killer. Like that is just on point for that car. And I'd love to see it with the 600 horsepower too. That's going to be interesting. Have you thought about anything suspension wise other than what you've done, or is it sitting the way you want it?
It's sitting the way I want it. We have trouble going in and out of parking lots now because it has the exhaust cutouts and all that, and they hang down a little bit. So we drag on some lots going in and out now.
Wow.
Or like pulling up to a parking block, it'll hit the front, whatever the heck you call that black piece on the bottom.
Yeah.
The bumper, that'll actually scrape on parking blocks.
Wow.
And it still gets, 25, 26 miles a gallon on the highway.
Yeah. That's my lucky thing right now is I've only been through 6 bumpers, so I'm hoping to keep it at 6, and that'll be that for that. So I understand that. And I think it's funny now with some of the road conditions out there. I don't know how some of these guys that had their cars lowered before can keep them lowered. You know what I mean? Like there has to be. That's why I tell people like air ride and stuff like that. I'm hearing myself echoing.
Yeah, it just started doing that.
Yeah.
All right.
But we were invited to a Comic-Con up in Flint, Michigan. Was kind of glad we didn't go because a buddy of mine went up to Detroit with his Dakota pickup and busted the front suspension up on it.
Got it.
Reggie, all right, brother?
He's trying to find that echo.
That's weird.
Yeah. The question is who's doing it. It's either going I think it's going to be either Chris or Billy. You have to mute each person and go through them and try it out.
Yeah, so there's a profile picture of the wagon right there.
There you go.
That's a
I'll pull
recent
that
one
up.
from when I had it out in the yard, just from moving cars around.
Oh, not that one. That's
No, not that one.
this
That
one.
one.
Yeah.
Look
Oh, that's
at
cool.
that.
So that basically is at a point where I have most of the roof skinned with sheet metal, and then the most back, I guess, call it quarter window, is installed. And the proof of concept is there. I know what I have is going to look as I want it to based on the rendering. So I can start to move into the back window, and get that rearmost sheet metal formed.
Nice. Yeah, that seems so involved. Like, is there any structural stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, I removed most of the roof, and in between. So if you're sitting in the back seat as a stock Challenger, there's a lot of structure back there. I had to remove all of that.
Yeah.
So now it's basically a walkthrough. So it's a wagon. So all that structure has to be accounted for on the rebuild. So cross ribbing from left to right to support the roof, and then internal structure to brace the quarter panels, so they don't fold in on each other and the door gaps remain. So there's been quite a bit of reinforcement that's taken place prior to cutting the roof out.
Now that was, was there ever a convertible version of that available?
They did do a convertible, and it was an aftermarket convertible, but there never was one from the factory. So if you go through those pictures there, and I'm looking at tiny pictures, sorry.
This is how it started, basically.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Yeah, so basically what you're looking at now is that's actually the first version, right? So the last picture you guys were looking at was Rev 2. This here is Rev 1, and what ended up happening was I didn't do a rendering on the first shot, and I just kind of wung it. And it was out on my lawn one day because I had to clean the garage, and I walked by it from a distance, and I looked at it, and I said, you know what? It's just not right. And I feel like with something like this, it's either really right or it's really wrong. There's no in between. So I ended up throwing all of that in the trash, and I started from scratch, which is what you're bringing up now. So this is attempt 2 after I had taken a year off and just thought about my plan.
Now, first of all, I have to ask: Are you keeping these wheels? Because I don't know why I love them.
Yeah, I know, right? It's perfect.
Yeah, so the front wheels are staying. So those are 22-inch American Racing sombreros. The back are 22-inch sombreros, but what I've done is I've gone and I got a set of 24 by 15-inch wheels. So they have a 12-inch deep dish, which means I have to remove the independent rear suspension and I have to solid axle the car. So I got the rear end out of a 2500 Chevy dually truck, and I shortened it 16 inches to accept the those wheels.
The one above that too, Joel, is like really nice. See, you can see the structure that's going into it, while the support and all that. Like, but that one above it, yeah. Look at
And this just shows like the amount of welding that's going in. That's just like.
I can see myself grinding for days on that. That would just be like.
It's a lot of TIG welding, I'll tell you that. So.
Right. Man.
A lot of many hours on the English wheel, and most of those hours have been spent throwing metal right in the trash because it's a hard art. I'm new to it, and it is the hardest thing I've ever attempted to learn is metal shaping.
Have you?
And I can't even call myself a metal shaper because I'm not, but certainly have tried and done a lot of research and have some really good support around here for guys who do it.
The green, yeah, that shot right there. There you go. What the finished result will probably look like.
That's the rendering of
Yeah.
where we're attempting to go, which I think is perfect.
Is there a reason why you did the segments versus instead of trying to just make a whole piece?
Yeah, so if you're doing metal shaping on an English wheel, you're limited to how big of a piece you can manage. And that's typically a 3x3, 3 foot by 3 foot. And that for me is even stretching it because I'm a small guy. I'm 5'6". So my little T-Rex arms don't have a good wingspan. And when you're wheeling, you get tired quick.
Right.
And what happens is as you get tired, you lose support and then the wheels start to dig in and it leaves track marks in the metal. And then now you're fighting yourself, you know what I mean? So working within pieces that are big enough for you to manage only leaves the surface quality better, but then you have to do more welding.
Now, the one thing that I talk about, which I don't know if this came up to you or not, was a lot of times metals versus metals is usually sometimes. Did you do any kind of metallurgical research to the way the two pieces are going to connect? So the top of the car versus the metal that you're using on the bed area?
Yeah, so it's two different gauge metals, right? So the metal from the factory is a 19 gauge.
Wow.
So they went to a thinner metal because you make a million cars, 19 gauge versus 18 gauge, you're saving a ton of money, right?
Oh yeah.
What I'm using is 18 gauge.
Okay.
So when you blend 18 to 19, there's a little bit of finesse with the TIG welder to make the two react correctly, I guess.
To play with each other.
Right, yeah. Plus the factory metal's been coated in a bunch of stuff.
Right.
It's dipped and it's got rust corrosion on it, so you got to really grind all that stuff off to make it play nice when you're TIG welding.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything else is 18 gauge, and when you weld 18 to 18, it behaves pretty much as you would expect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny. We used to joke all the time because they'd use certain types of wheels with certain types of rotors. And a lot of the aftermarket guys would use something that would actually fuse you could find a way to fuse the tire or the wheel to the rotor of the brakes because of the way the two metals like just interacted with each other and just gripped. So it was like, it's something I always wondered about with the metal from a factory versus, like you were saying, it's just treated so much. And then you get the stuff where it's like, now you have a raw piece of metal that has literally no treatment whatsoever. And then you try to mate these two things. It's like, sometimes they're not good friends. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the factory metal starts off as cold rolled steel.
Yeah.
And what I'm using is cold rolled steel. You just have to make sure that you, grind all the impurities off of it, and you're starting with a clean slate. You just have to change your amperage as you're welding to blend 18 to 19. It's not much of a difference, but it's enough where you do have to be considerate of it.
Yeah.
But to your point, like I had a Ford Ranger years ago, and those came with factory aluminum wheels. And the aluminum wheels would seize themselves to the steel lug nuts, and it was this weird, exactly what you're saying, this metal, I don't know, this like marriage of weird metals that they didn't like each other.
Right. Well, it's more like they loved each other.
They liked each other too much. Yeah. Right.
They welded together, and it's like you come in with, and you have different vehicles like this. There's some that I've seen where you've joined these two pieces of metal, and all of a sudden you have like an advanced corrosion, because what they do is they're starting to eat at each other at that connection point. I've seen, because a lot of these guys back in the day, they didn't have a lot of science that went into you get what I call the quarter car. So they'd have the two pieces and they connect the car together, but they came in four pieces. You got a car shipped over, you get the front shipped to you, the back, the engine, and then anything else that came with it. So that way you could I don't know if they were getting around certain import things, but they do a kit cars and that kind of thing. Or they'd say, you know what, I want to put a Mitsubishi Eclipse with maybe an FTO, so I'd have like kind of mid-range car. But then the stuff that they used to seal these cars together not only had structural issues, but the metals did not want to interact with each other. So they would start to break down, and you'd see this corrosion build around the 2 points, and then it would just kind of start crumbling. And you're like, wow, this is crazy. And a lot of it aftermarket, but because that's not common for a car, like you go to the store, you buy a car, it's not glued together. You don't see that as much. But when you get into that big metallurgy stuff and guys that that are doing that professionally, they bring it up. You know what I mean?
That
What's
issue
Joel?
that happened with the Ford Rangers was also a common issue with Jeeps. There's a lot of people who have like the stock Sahara Jeeps or Sahara wheels. Actually, I think they're if it's one of those. If you don't take your wheels off once a year, you're done screwed. And like there's people like there's videos on YouTube of people who are literally taking grinders and completely like cutting through the wheel just to get it off.
Yeah. We used to take gigantic hammers and just big rubber mallet, basically, things and we just and I could have it full swing from ground all the way up into it, and it wouldn't even budge.
No,
crazy stuff. So,
Reggie, you
and I
gonna
was
have
wondering about
anybody at
that.
Mopars at the beach?
Do you hear that, Reggie?
Are you gonna have anybody for taking photographs at Mopars at the beach in 2 weeks?
I'm not sure yet. If anybody, it would be Angela.
Yeah, it's Savannah's mom.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know Savannah will be there with Black Pearl.
Yeah, the most likely.
Yeah, because we're going to be down there and hope to have all the latest revisions of the car done.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing every word you're saying, buddy. I'm trying to figure out what in the world is causing all this echoes.
Everybody's doing it, or at least
well, you got one person's doing it, and what's happening is everybody's picking it up. So you got to mute one person at a time until you figure out who's doing it.
I did that,
and it's still doing it.
Yeah,
I don't think it ever stopped.
Yeah. Okay, Joel, you had one other vehicle to go, and you were building. I want to say it's your Jeep, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly built when I got it. Not well. And that's usually the case. Is you're trying to correct other people's stuff. This is as I received it. I kind of thought I was avoiding having to do a lot of work on it because I thought, oh, I got it. It essentially had what I wanted on it. The
snow.
Yeah, the snow. The tires were actually larger than I wanted. I didn't really want to go full 35s, but my wife actually thought it was awesome. And so, yeah, I ended up going on. Now, one of the things I had to do with this is the wiring, as received, was horrendous. There was a lot of accessories that were added. The stereo system that's added, and I've mostly corrected a lot of that. And there was at one time some form of auxiliary lights that were on this, and I know this because the wiring was still there. And unfortunately, I don't have pictures of like what I did to correct the wiring, but I did eventually like slowly start adding. Like I added the fog lights first, and I'm still doing paint correction on it. Not that it has to be perfect, but it has to be at least start looking better. Type of thing. But as with any Jeep, it's all about like what accessories that you can get to make it look cooler, kind of thing. And
there's so much to do with a Jeep too,
right? I mean, and so nothing says 4x4 like a 10-foot CB whip, and
right.
That was like a requirement. I had to do it. It was one of those like I used to have a Jeep Cherokee. that I didn't put a 10-foot whip on it, but I had a CB radio into it, and when I was in high school, it was kind of the big thing, and then when you go 4x4, it's you got to have it, kind of thing. So I made sure this was like a required edition to have on it, and it honestly, it's like everybody comments on it. They just think it's the coolest thing when it's like, oh my god, you have an old school like big ass, and I do have like orange Power Wheels flags that I sometimes put on it.
This seems very functionally built.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you though, like the biggest thing that I need to have done is and I didn't check it when I bought it, and I'm regretting it immensely, is I didn't check that it was correctly geared. So at some point I have the price figured out on how much it's probably going to approximately cost, but it's going to go into right now it has 307 gears for the front and rear pumpkins. We're going to put probably 410s in there to make it much more functional with the large tires, because I think I'm going to keep the 35s. The look is definitely growing on me.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And then this is as it sits pretty much now. So we have like a, full spots. I got a custom logo to put on it where he's, because you have to kind of name your Jeep. So we named it Winston, which is actually anybody who's like a 1980s, maybe, geez, was it maybe late 70s, early 80s, Monty Python-esque movie called Time Bandits. So the font is actually the Time Bandits font. There was an ogre whose name was Winston, and he was constantly complaining about how he was afraid he was going to break himself. And I thought that was just like the perfect, name for the Jeep. Because everybody who has a Jeep, when they go four-wheeling with it, you're always.
Do you have the custom plate yet?
I don't have Winston. I don't have Winston. I couldn't believe Jeep Fun was available.
Yeah, right.
So I just refer to him as Winston Jeep Fun.
There you go.
Like all in one, kind of thing. And I was amazed when I put it in just to see, because I had base fun for the Corvette, and then Jeep Fun for the Jeep. I have a hard top for it as well, so it's it's functional during the winter. And the frame is actually in really decent shape, which was a huge surprise for these when I got it.
So one thing I want everybody to be able to do out that's watching this either now or later, I want them to be able to follow you guys on your different social medias, because that's one thing that we showed up today, and obviously you guys are going to keep things updated. So I'm just going to go around and whatever your social media that you want people to follow you on, I'm guessing Instagram. Just let us know so that we can forward people over there. And if you want to, Billy, you can go first.
Yeah, it's Slimer Challenger, one word. It's Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Slimer Challenger, got it. And then Chris, what do you got?
I have two. I have actually I have three. I have Bad Idea, which is my own personal. It's BD_idea.
Okay.
And then I have Ruined_rides, which is my business.
Mm-hmm.
And then our car club is Ruined_car_club.
Nice. All right. And Joel, I'm sure you have a couple in there.
Yeah, I've got definitely two Instagrams. Webneas, which stands for NewEnglandAutoshows.com.
Yes. NEAS.
NEAS.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the main one that I'll sometimes post to, or I try to post as much as I can. But also for my personal one, it's Mr. Jolie C. Mr. Jolie C, and it's MRJOELIEC.
Right. Nice. And that's it. That's the two, because everybody else has got others, and
right. I mean certainly, like I have Twitter accounts that match up, but I don't often tweet.
Do people still tweet anymore?
Oh,
No.
yeah, it's huge.
It's here, really? Okay.
Yeah.
They keep saying that. What is it? Someone that Elon's going to buy it and do all this stuff, and I keep getting weird updates.
I think that honestly, I think that was a publicity stunt on Twitter's part to actually get people back on it because it seems like it's going crazy again.
So here's we got another comment over here. Let's see. Life in the passenger seat. Damn, this is the episode I didn't want to miss, but we're packing for an early flight tomorrow. Well, sorry to hear that. And this will be on YouTube, so you can obviously check it out when we're done with it. We're gonna close it up in about 3 seconds here anyway. So but yeah, sorry guys out there. We did have some technical difficulties to start, and then we kind of had this echo thing going on. So there's other stuff, obviously. We're gonna start blaming people, but yeah, I think it's just operational problem. So, but no.
No. Facebook.
So, and Reggie would like to send everybody to Instagram at ECS_magazine or ecsmagazine.com so that you can pick up some magazines, some apparel, all sorts of cool stuff out there. And obviously our sponsor was just Control Freak. So controlfreakcompany.com, which has some awesome items out there. You guys can check those out. So, but I do want to thank everybody that came out today and shared their awesome builds with us. I want to thank Billy. I'm going to thank Chris. I'm going to thank Joel, and I obviously running the mill here, Reggie. Reggie, is there anything you'd like to close everything out with tonight?
Do you really want me to say it?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I go for it.
F social media. Screw Facebook. Screw Instagram. Screw them all.
Which is owned by Facebook anyway, right?
They don't want me to share our lives. It got shared anyway, so them.
Well,
So
thanks
no,
for the
don't hold
invite,
back.
Reggie.
I want you to tell everybody how you feel. No, what were you saying, Billy?
I just tell Reggie thanks for the invite to come on the live tonight.
Yeah, we were happy to have you
thanks
on.
for coming on actually too, and letting us look at that machine and that. I think you summed it up when somebody said, it's really nice to see like a different type of theme for that color, because it seems like there's so many themes that seems to be worked to death with that particular color, and that was like I really love that car. I think that I want to see that car up close.
Well, he's got some power. He's going to be power adders, and then next year it's going to be.
Well, that is if I can talk the wife out of the 10 or 12,000 to do all that.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
This guy over here needs moonshine. That one right there.
He's what?
He needs moonshine. Joe.
I definitely
Joe
need
He's like, no, yeah.
Neon moonshine is a really bad idea.
Yeah. We'll save that. We'll save that for the after show today. So,
right.
But like you said, I want to thank everybody for coming on. Remember, this is every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. where we talk about all things automotive. It is ECS Magazine. I'm just all over the place. Hang out, and
English,
you can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all the cool social media platforms if Reggie can tolerate them anymore. But yeah, hopefully we'll be back next week if he doesn't totally mothball the whole thing. But no, I'm just kidding. No, we had a great show tonight with everybody. Thank you guys for sharing stuff. Thank you guys that posted in the comments and shared your stuff. Remember, next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m., ECS Hangout. We'll be back. I hope to have you there too. You guys have a great night. We'll talk to you then.